And we are back with another episode of Holy Terrors, the podcast that examines horror through the lens of faith, religion, and spirituality. I am one of your very over-caffeinated hosts, Brian Kuiper, and joining me, tied to his padded bed in a blue dress, is Mr. Patrick Brennan. How are you?
Good, Brian. You like my dress?
The devil with the blue dress on. That's a running joke in this movie. That
That's beaten to death like a
death, yeah.
poor horse.
Yeah, exactly. Very sad. But anyway, today we're talking about the true sequel to the classic film The Exorcist, and that is 1990's Repossessed, which I just want to mention now, Pat, you
This was my
picked
idea.
this movie. This was your idea. Had you seen this before?
No,
Oh.
that's one of the reasons I think I wanted to cover it. I was like, well, if I'm gonna watch it, might as well make it count.
What we're doing with this, though, is we're making good on our promise that we made back on our very early episode with the prophecy, where we said we should just pick some silly 90s or 80s movie to go after, like the really heavy episodes we do. So last week we did Mother with Michelle Egan. So we thought, hey, this time let's do something really silly. So we picked Repossessed of all of the films that were out in the world. And now that's okay. I have a little bit of history with this movie, so I'm cool with it. But okay, so this was your first time watch.
Oh boy,
tell me your reactions.
My reactions. Well, okay, so like I was aware of this movie through, pictures of Linda Blair in the makeup and stuff that you'd see sometimes in like Fangoria and other like horror anthology nonfiction books, those kind of things. But I didn't really understand what it was. Like I knew it was a parody. I didn't realize it was like a Leslie Nielsen joint. Which was weird because like I grew up watching The Naked Gun and Spy Hard and all those movies and saw him as like the funny grandfather that I always wanted.
I saw Spy Hard in the theater.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I still remember the opening song sung by Weird Al and then his head exploding was so funny to me as a kid.
Yeah. I have not revisited that one since seeing it in the theater, but
some things are better left buried.
In the past, yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes dead's better. But I always thought of him, as a comedy guy, so much so that when I finally saw Creepshow for the first time, I was actually like genuinely upset because he's so like it's so strange seeing him as a villain, even though he's a fantastic villain in that movie.
Did you ever see Forbidden Planet?
No, I still haven't seen Forbidden Planet. I know he was like a leading.
That is a shock. If you've only ever seen him as comedy legend Leslie Nielsen, you go back and see him as matinee idol with dark hair, captain of the spaceship in Forbidden Planet. It's different. It's different.
Hot boy Nielsen, as they say. But yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of my background with it. But as for my initial thoughts, initial reactions, it made me question. I don't know. I haven't watched any of those parodies from that era in so long, so I wonder how well they hold up. And I guess I'll save that for another day. But incidentally, my wife happened to be watching this with me on and off. She was playing Pokemon in the on the couch, and at the end of it, she just looked over at me and was like, "I think I might hate Leslie Nielsen now."
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh no,
that's not good."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I saw this on video around the time it first came out on video, hit the shelves. Being a horror curious type as I was, I had seen a few by this point. I was around 12, right? I'm sure this was after the storied time my grandmother took us, me and my brother, to see Silence of the Lambs in the theater because she thought it was a movie about sheep farming.
Oh my god! But did she not see the poster?
I, she was like, "Well, that's weird. Let's go inside."
That's so sweet.
I wanted to see the Silence of the Lambs, and I was like, "Okay, let her think what she thinks." So we saw the Silence of the Lambs. Anyway, different story. Um, so this, I was curious. I had seen sort of and heard things about The Exorcist, seen the pictures in lots of books I checked out from the library, things like that. My parents were still like, yeah, maybe wait on seeing that one for a little while still. They weren't so sure I was ready for it.
Mhm.
Um, so when Repossessed came out, it was like, oh, it's a chance to see The Exorcist without seeing The Exorcist, because Linda Blair's in it, returning in this, and I had seen The Naked Gun with my uncle, and it was one of the sort of formative moments of my life, as far as movie watching goes. I mean, we watched on video, but still, it was like the funniest thing I had ever seen in my life. I had never seen anything, hadn't seen Airplane yet. So, seeing something that was that just joke after joke after joke,
Mhm.
constant barrage kind of thing, I had never experienced like that. And nobody did it like they did. So I was very excited to see this because it was a horror spoof. And even one of the posters is basically the Naked Gun poster with Leslie Nielsen on a cross,
I love
dressed
that
as a
poster.
priest. Yeah. Instead of on the bullet holding the gun. Yeah. So, also I was 12. So all the pretty girls and the juvenile humor in this kind of helped my enjoyment.
I love that.
Now, what do I think of it now? Um, it's dumb, but I was still kind of entertained by it. I I don't know. I liked it more than you did, but
It harkens back to a time when you could have a PG-13 film that had, like,
right,
multiple nude
full
shots.
nudity in it.
Yeah,
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 crazy.
I miss those times where you could drop an F-bomb and it's still, like,
I
yeah.
remember I wrote a piece way back when my early days of writing for Bloody Disgusting, just writing in general, and I had said I showed Halloween to my son who was 9 at the time. And I said, let's face it, this movie would have been, PG-13 if it was released at a different time. And then one of the comments was, I don't think that tits and weed can be shown in a PG-13 movie. And I was like, have you seen movies from the 1990s
Yeah,
that were PG-13 or even the late 80s? It's just like that was the thing. You could show boobs. That's the joke in Scream.
yeah.
Would you settle for a PG-13 relationship? And then she opens her shirt. I mean, it was like, this is not something that was unusual, but now it's PG-13 is the new PG, basically.
Mhm. Is there
S
even PG-13 still? I don't even know
Yeah,
what's.
PG-13 is sort of the standard. It's what everything is. It's what all the Marvel
Oh,
movies are. It's also superhero movies are PG-13. So
hmm.
parents strongly cautioned, whatever the heck that means, even.
When
And
these movies are marketed to
PG,
children.
right? And PG is Pixar movies, so it's like PG is the new G. It's so weird.
Interesting.
So I don't know. The rating system seems so meaningless now, but it kind of be. I don't know how many people even pay attention to it anymore. You know,
I
I don't because I'm
I don't really, not
old
unless
enough
with my
for
kids.
it to not to matter.
Actually,
Um,
side note, I showed them, the live, I think 1990 as well, the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film,
yeah,
and, that was, I mean, it didn't have boobies in it,
right,
but I was surprised at how much, like, the turtles swore and stuff, but
sure,
that was, I think, PG or
yeah,
possibly PG-13. I mean,
and there's
Shredder gets crushed in a garbage truck at the end.
yeah. Well, I mean, like in this, there are like really sexual jokes. Like
Oh,
what did John Hancock do? I think that one of the lines that I remembered from when I was 12 seeing this movie. Um and then there are a lot of shits in this movie. There's no fucks, but there are a lot of shits.
yeah,
So, um
yeah.
anyway, I don't know. Watching this now, it's sort of that was it great or were you eight kind of quality to it.
Yeah.
It's not great, and I think I actually watched it twice because I watched it just to watch it, and then I watched it with the director's commentary, which was not
I
a
thought
great.
about it.
It's not a great director's commentary,
No.
but it is enlightening about a couple of facts that I'll talk about in the background. Okay, so the background for Repossessed, 1990, same year as The Exorcist 3, by the way.
That's why it didn't do super well.
Right, that must be it.
Yeah, it's the ET effect, you know. That's why you
Yeah.
like how the thing didn't do well. Yeah, that's it.
Also, Exorcist 3 didn't do very well either, as I
Oh yeah,
recall.
that's right.
It's funny because it's weird, though, isn't it? That it's like two Exorcist movies, essentially, sequels to The Exorcist, in the same year. Um, Thinking, hey, it must be in the air. People talk about The Exorcist, and then neither of them really do anything.
Was the reaction to Heretic that bad?
Oh yeah, but
I
that
wouldn't.
was that
Wow.
was in like what 77, something like
Maybe
that.
the ripple effect was that. If that
That
was your
profound.
last. Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't know that people thought it was relevant
No.
anymore. Because I mean, you're thinking of 1990. I mean, that's the ebb of the second slasher boom.
Yeah.
So things are just kind of horror in the early 90s is in a weird place. It doesn't it's not that it disappears, but there's not as much that is iconic. It's not as memorable. Wes Craven is sort of limping along. John
Yeah.
Carpenter's sort of limping along. They're releasing good quality stuff. It's just no one's seeing it. Uh, so, which is a shame. And then Scream just sort of reawakens
Revitalizes.
everything. Yeah, in '96. So anyway, background of Repossessed. Okay, folks. In 1973, there was this movie that came out that was a big hit called The Exorcist. Ever
Nah, I
heard?
never heard of it. No.
I never heard. Okay. Then in 1980, there's this movie that came out called Airplane. That was a big hit too. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that the one where it's like the plane and it's underwater, then it's hovering over a chasm? No, that was a
Sure.
few years before.
Yeah, sure, sure. Anyway, we're obviously this is all tongue in cheek. I mean, there's just like let's take this big hit and this big hit and why not both? That's sort of what this feels
Make them
like, right?
kiss.
Yeah. But I mean, Airplane. You have the team of Jim Abrams and then Jerry and David Zucker. Absolutely revolutionizes this type of comedy. So there's no. Um, I mean, Airplane. I think probably plays great when you're in a group of people.
Yeah.
Okay. I went and saw it not that long ago, and I love Airplane. I've seen it a dozen times. And I was the only one in the theater though, and it was just kind of boring. I mean, because there were just these long pauses where people would laugh in the original if the theater was full. And so I was just found myself kind of going, huh, that's too bad. You know, that it
Interesting.
was a shame because I Airplane, I am not going to say anything about how revolutionary it is because I come on, it's hard to think of a movie that just sort of changed the face of comedy as thoroughly as Airplane did.
Hmm.
Uh, but then, and The Naked Gun, along with that later, uh, Naked Gun is interesting. I rewatched that with my kids, and my son especially, he loved it. All three of
Hmm.
them. We watched all three of them, and we watched the remake, and they all worked. But again, those movies work better in groups of people. when people
Yeah.
are laughing together. Um, so another thing about Airplane is that it turned Leslie Nielsen into a comedy legend, which was not what he was before that, right?
He was hot boy Leslie.
Exactly. He was a matinee idol, leading man type. He didn't quite raise to those, Montgomery Clift or Rock Hudson levels of anything or something like that. Tab Hunter, I suppose. I don't know.
Hmm.
But um but he's sort of like the B movie version of that, I guess. Um so to have him come in and do these things in comedies but playing them straight, which is part of the what is revolutionary about Airplane, is that you get all these dramatic actors who don't do comedy and have them still just play it like they would, play it
Yeah.
straight, but say these insane things like I am serious, but don't call me Shirley is a good
Yeah.
example. I mean, there's so that's brought to light here again. And just to be done with the Exorcist of all movies is a little bit of a choice because The Exorcist was old by this point, you know? It was still in the conversation as like, oh, the scariest movie ever made. I remember people saying that in the 90s still. The
Before
Exorcist is the
that
scariest.
cut came out.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Before that cut came out. And also, there tends to be a backlash against that kind of statement as well. Now,
Yeah,
that
that
didn't
became
used
a
to be.
no, no, but now it's like a yearly thing. I mean, we're seeing that with Undertone now, I
Yeah.
think.
And people, the first reaction of every horror movie that comes out, oh, is Lee Cronin's The Mummy is the most fucked up experience I've ever had in the theater. And it's like, "Uh, okay. And then
And then the
people
pendulum
go and
swings.
yeah, and then people go and see it and they're like, a better example might be like The Toxic Avenger. I remember people talking about how just insane that movie was. You're not going to believe it. And then you see it and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Tho
sure.
those quotes never do the
They,
film any good
they
because it
never
always
do.
just makes people it just makes people cross their arms when they're in the theater, and they're
Exactly.
like, "Okay, let's see if all the hype is reached," and, of course,
Yeah,
it's not gonna reach it if you've built it up
never.
that much.
The only one that ever came close for me, I think, was when I saw Terrifier 2. And I actually went, holy shit, they really go over the top in this movie, don't they? But I had this weird feeling that I like when I saw Martyrs for the
Yeah.
first time, I had been sort of led to believe it was the most fucked up shit you will ever see kind of thing too. And it's pretty fucked up, but I mean, I've seen movies. I think it's this reaction is just something we need to stop. I mean, just not say it's the most of something. It's got to be so over the top. It's got to be the best or the worst. It's never. It's really good, and I think you'll like it. You know what I mean?
No,
Uh,
100%, yeah.
so anyway, that's a rant and a half there,
One
but
spooky picture.
yeah, it's one spooky picture. I haven't seen The Mummy yet. I'm hoping to see that this weekend, but
I'm seeing it on Monday, and I'm really interested because
yeah,
I'm listening to a lot of the criticism, and I'm like, I don't I haven't heard yet anything about, like, the acting or the writing. I'm
no,
just hearing it's too long, there's no
uh-huh,
mummy in it, and,
right,
sure, it's goopy and the effects are great, but
yeah,
there's no mummy in it, and I'm like, "Why do you're gonna get your fucking Brendan Fraser mummy movie in a year or 2,
I
like,
know.
can we just I don't know, like, that's
Well,
not."
we should probably save some of this for like a confessional
Oh,
episode,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
my and I said this on I was a guest on Halloweenies once and and they asked me, this was when it was announced. They said, "So they're making another Mummy movie." And I'm like, "Of all the Universal monsters they can make, why do they keep remaking the fucking Mummy?"
It's the most boring Universal monster movie, in my
It
opinion.
is. It
It's
is.
so, like, it's such a glacial pace, and you
Uh-huh.
barely see him, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. So, like, of all the ones to remake and to do something completely different with it, why not use that? Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing
It's
with
true,
the
but it's been done
it's
so
been
many
done so many
times.
times, yeah.
That's the only thing that I that I wonder about. It's like Creature never seems to get off the ground. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, Carpenter tried. I know James Wan has taken a crack at it.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I mean, let's face it, Guillermo del Toro made it.
Yeah.
And it won an Oscar for Best Picture. He's the one that made it happen. And people are like, "Oh, well, that doesn't count." It's like it is more like the original Creature from the Black Lagoon than the Invisible Man, the Wolf Man, or the Mummy that have come
Yeah.
out that
Yeah.
in the last few years.
It's basically
But
just the settings different and there's fish sex.
yeah, and there's fish sex. I think John
There's
Squires
implied fish sex in the original.
John Squires wrote a great tweet. I wish I had it in front of me, where he said, "The Invisible Man comes out, but it's not it's the Invisible Man, but not the Invisible Man." Then it was the Wolf Man, but not the Wolf Man, and then it's the Mummy, but not the Mummy, and then Guillermo del Toro. It's not the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but it's totally the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and he fucks. And it was like, I thought it was awesome. So funny. Um, anyway, that was a long tangent off the because I don't know how much we're gonna have to say about this movie. So you can always judge how much we gauged with a movie by how long our tangents are.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on here, this was written and directed by Bob Logan. He left the film before it was completed. The studio reshot and inserted sections that he is not a fan of.
That explains so much.
So much. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that watching it, knowing what was his and what was not, makes a difference.
Yeah.
All of the lecture sequences were not his. And those are some of the dumbest sections of the movie.
Oh, and they're peppered in. They stick
Mhm.
out like sore thumbs. That's
Yeah.
what, like, the first third of the movie I actually was like digging. It was the parts that are more of a straight parody of The
Yeah.
Exorcist
Mhm.
was you know, not awful.
Yeah. And the horrible rap that is in there too.
Hold on a sec, because here's the thing, and this goes along with the rewatching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fair enough.
I miss the era of film, of cinema really, where the credits would roll and then a rap would
I'm not
play
talking
that
about the rap.
explains all of it. Well,
I'm not
which
talking about the ending. I'm talking about the one where
oh, yeah.
Father Luke is in the lecture hall performing the most cringeworthy rap that you can possibly imagine.
Well, and it's
That's what
straight
I'm
up,
talking
like,
about.
kinda racist too, because it's right
Yeah.
after he,
Yeah.
daps up the one black priest, and
Right.
there's some real, oof
Yes.
moments
There
in
there
this.
are there are definitely some oof moments in this movie.
But I think we
Um
can all agree we need more credit raps.
we do need more credit raps. And yeah, that just explain the movie because then we don't have to watch the movie.
Well, it's like LL Cool J's from, Deep Blue Sea. "My hat is like a shark's fin."
All
So
right.
good.
I've seen that movie a grand total of one time.
You fool.
I know. That's what everyone tells me. So anyway, the Leslie Nielsen voiceovers are added later, and also the health club sequence, which is one of the most problematic
Oh,
things
god.
I have seen in any movie in a long time. It's also the sequence I remembered best from when I first saw it.
Well, you're a child, you're not
I
made of
was 12.
stone.
I was 12, and so exploding boobies. I mean, come on. That
And
that was
non-exploding boobies.
right. And
And buns, which I call back boobies.
back boobies.
Mhm.
And also, gosh, that very, I mean, just one of the worst portrayals of a gay man
Oh
in a
god.
movie. I mean,
Yeah.
even for 1990, that's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Um, so and the thing is, to his credit, the director, writer, director is horrified by it. He's horrified that that is in his movie and his name is on it. Um, so he still takes credit for the movie because I mean, come on, he didn't do the Alan Smithy thing, which he
Yeah.
could have done because the movie did get taken away from him. He was 10 weeks into editing, and they asked for a test of it. So they showed it, and in this theater in Pasadena, I think you said, and the whole demographic inside the theater was 12 to 17-year-old boys.
Mhm.
And
So
so
but
they're like,
yeah.
more TNA, more silliness, more goofiness. And so he's disavowed all of that. He made it for an audience that would be um, familiar with The Exorcist. So a little bit older, more of
Yeah.
your, I guess, young Frankenstein crowd. And when you see that section of the movie, when you watch, because the parts that he did not do stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they match, I guess, but tonally they don't.
It's
So,
it's rough.
yeah, it's really rough. So he wrote it essentially as a comedy version of The Exorcist, even in structure. It's much more like Father May I, Leslie Nielsen's character, shows up much later.
Mhm.
When he first goes and sees him in like the retirement home, that's the first appearance of Leslie Nielsen. Where in,
Interesting.
where in this version, he shows up right at the beginning because, hey, Naked Gun was a big hit. So let's get Leslie Nielsen front and center in this thing, is essentially what I think happened.
The gag where he's pushed down the stairs and then they recreate the stair scene from The Exorcist, but it's like
Yeah. Oh,
5
that's
times as long, which is
well. I guess he would have been in that sequence too. He would have been in the opening as well.
okay.
You're
Okay.
right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I
that's a
was
good
just gonna
point.
say I love that
Oh,
gag.
it's
That's
it's
one of
brilliant. It's kind
and
of
the
it's
line
it's kind of like Brooksian level funny, you know.
yeah, and that line where the demon's like, "I'll be back," and he's like, "Oh, shit." So
And then he
it was
looks at
actually funny.
he breaks the fourth wall, like, oh, I said shit in front of the audience. Oops, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
The other fourth wall breaks that are in the other sections that are in the stuff he didn't shoot are really cheap. And
yeah.
I don't know. Though there is a line that I think is kind of funny in one of those that I will bring up later. But anyway, so what was things that were lost in order to make the time even out, I guess.
Mhm.
There was a subplot cut from the film that um Ernest and what is it, Fannie Ray Weller's entire ministry was financed by the mafia, and the telethon was being used to raise money to pay them off. And then the whole telethon sequence was going to be longer and just more absurd,
Mhm.
more of a skewering of the Jim and Tammy Faye Baker thing, and sort of that televangelism thing.
Yeah,
Um, and then just the hokiness of it all. And then the studio, the golf cart chase through the studio was longer as well. I mean, I don't know that those things really need to be longer, but I don't know. Pacing's a little wonky sometimes, but
you don't say.
I would say though that
Mhm.
the scenes that really work in this movie are the stuff that um Logan did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff that works. I mean, it's not quite on a Zucker Abrams Zucker level of things, but I mean, what is? But
Yeah, it's passable.
yeah, I mean, it's like it's sort of the son of those guys, which
Yeah.
is okay. It works still. But Linda Blair getting possessed through the TV and then just immediately vomiting on her family. I think that's hilarious. I think that's works for me.
I did
But
love that, and
yeah,
I, as much as I cringe to, admit it, I did love the running gag about, $20 says it's PMS,
right.
like that.
Right.
Actually,
I
speaking of
know.
Linda Blair in general, like, she is she's such a ray of light. Like,
Yeah.
I love her so much, and I love the fact that apparently doing this movie was very kind of therapeutic for her, like,
Mhm.
she had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and, considering the amount of, trauma that she had lingering from
Well, there's
doing The
oh man.
Exorcist, parodying it was cathartic, I think.
I would imagine so. I mean, there were people all those years later who were like, "Oh, she's actually possessed by the devil." I
Yeah.
mean, what level of crazy do you have to be to think that? I mean, I
Well, not to mention she was screwed out of an Oscar nomination
oh
when
yeah.
she 100% deserved an Oscar for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the Eileen Dietz controversy and the is is really it's really a shame.
Yeah.
And also Miss Mercedes McCambridge.
Yep.
There was that. I mean, what the real story is, I'm not sure we'll ever know
Yeah.
because um, William Friedkin tells it one way, Mercedes McCambridge and Eileen Dietz tell it another way, the producers tell it another way. There's just no way that we will ever get to the actual truth of that situation.
Unless would as a child, I think I told you about this. As a child, I always thought that, um, my image of heaven was that all mysteries would be revealed and that you could, like, dial up a thing, and then you're all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you're sitting there
Mm.
watching an historical event happening, and
I
that's the
have had
first
a
thing I'm gonna do.
similar find out what the real story on The Exorcist
I'm gonna
was.
be there on
It's like,
set.
all right, Jesus, it's nice to see you, but I got to find out what really happened on The Exorcist. Okay.
Priorities, man, and he'd just be like,
Priorities.
"Bro, I get it." We dap ourselves up, and then he'd probably take me there.
I bet. You know, Jesus is cool, I'm sure.
Well, that's why he's wearing the tuxedo T-shirt.
That's right. That is my favorite idea. I love that. I am now picturing Jesus in a tuxedo t shirt, and it's my favorite thing that I've ever thought in my life.
Just throwing up the hang loose
Yes,
signs.
the Buddy Christ.
Hell yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So uh contact lenses. This is a really interesting coincidence. This was not planned, but apparently it was the same doctor who fitted Linda Blair's contact lenses for this movie as who did for the original Exorcist.
That wasn't
And
planned?
that was
Wow,
not planned. It was just
interesting.
purely coincidental.
Hmm,
Um anyway, that's I don't know. That's just a small tidbit, but hey, what can I say? I have tidbits. That's all I have of this because there's not that much information except from the horse's mouth on the commentary for this movie.
I
And
got a great
just
tidbit for you.
sure.
Um, Apparently Leslie Nielsen was adamant that more farts be put into the movie, hence the opening sequence with the THSX parody and the fart.
That
Yeah,
I find that
which
pretty funny
and it
because
tracks.
every movie started with that THX thing back then too.
Yeah, but
Oh
considering how,
man,
like, he was notorious for bringing his fart machine with him
fart
to,
machine, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's incredible. What a weird dude.
a book a book that I would recommend is Don't Call Me Shirley: The Making of Airplane. It's written by Jim Abrams and the Zucker brothers, and if you can get a hold of the audio book,
Mhm.
do because they read it themselves, and they're old but they're pretty funny. And boy, it's kind of a delight to hear about the fart machine. And they explain how to make your own fart machine if you so desire. It's like two baby food lids stuck together. One of them has a hole in it. When you squeeze it, it
Oh, that makes
you can
sense.
make it's like he became like a master at it. And he would hand them out to other people in the cast, and eventually it became like a problem on the set because of Airplane, at least, and probably every other movie he ever made, because he was always making farting sounds. And he would do
I
it in interviews and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love
You
to know if he was similar to Patrick Stewart in that he started off as a very serious, no nonsense actor on set, and then
Sure,
came just someone who
the cut up.
continuously ruined scenes because
I hope so. I really hope that's the case, because to me, uh, I mean, by the time Leslie Nielsen passed away, he was like comedy god, you know?
I was so bummed when he
He,
died.
he just seemed like everybody's delightful grandfather.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what, Bobby Logan says in the commentary. He says every day was a pleasure to go to work just because Leslie was there and
Hmm.
you were going to have a great time. So, he had nothing but good things to say about his cast. That's for sure. So Leslie Nielsen, Linda Blair, um, Ned Beatty, he said they were all fantastic. And the fact that you get Ned Beatty in a movie like this is insane.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of brilliant in it too.
Hmm.
He doesn't have a huge part, but he's sort of the master of the walk-on role anyway. I mean, I love Network. Network is a brilliant movie, but the thing I always remember is that one monologue that
Hmm.
Ned Beatty gives. It's like, "You have meddled with the laws of nature, Mr. Beale, and you shall atone." Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? I mean, it's just it's like the most brilliant delivery of anything ever put on film. And okay, so Ned Beatty plays Ernest Weller and his wife Fanny Ray. So they're obviously Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
Just a little on the
Obviously.
nose. Yeah.
Yeah. That that scandal had broken right a little bit before, like 1987.
Okay.
Okay. So all of this stuff had gone down. It had come out that Jim Baker had this one night stand with this woman, and then also had he went to prison for embezzling funds. And so all this corruption and all of these things, and also things like the Jimmy Swaggart scandal and all those
Hmm.
things were all coming to light.
Televangelists
It's
were in the air.
yeah, and you see him all over lots of movies, like Wes Craven stuff. Shocker has a whole
Yeah.
televangelist sequence in it, and um, there was stuff in like didn't like Terror Vision have some things like that in it too?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's been a
so
while.
it's been a while for me too, but all the television they were ripe for being skewered,
Yeah.
and rightly so, and frankly still. um but at this time it was that particular brand where they were sort of like out of time, like they were in the 70s still, and
Hmm.
were dressing in these crazy fashions with big hair and so much makeup, and their dogs and cats were like accessories, and sitting on thrones and stuff like that. It was so bizarre.
I gotta say, Tammy Faye's I mean, there's a reason why she's a gay icon.
Yeah, there is.
Um, Part of it, I mean, besides the stories of, because wasn't she an advocate for, like, during the AIDS,
Hmm.
like, epidemic? Well, I guess it's,
Well,
still
sure. I
happening
mean, but
technically, but
that was when it was an absolute death sentence, though.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
but that fashion-wise
yeah,
and the makeup and the hair, it's
yeah,
like yeah, yeah, she was like the long lost cousin of Divine.
exactly. Well, she was one of the first people to have her makeup like tattooed on her face.
Oh my god. Have you ever watched any videos of the botches of,
Oh gosh.
yeah, it's not great.
That's I mean, honestly, that's why I've never gotten a tattoo. I'm afraid it's gonna be some big screw up and it's just gonna be this horrible regret that I have. And also I don't like needles like at all. So they really freak me out. But
I didn't know that about you.
oh yeah, I'm deathly afraid of it. So
Oh,
I've gotten my vaccinations and stuff, but I cannot look while they're stabbing me.
yeah.
It's like I'm that guy. It's really yeah, it's a thing with me. So
I find with the tattoo gun, it's going so fast that you don't realize it's a needle, but, like, when I got my ears pierced a few years ago, I said, "I'm never getting anything pierced again." There's something
yeah.
about feeling the thing go in and then out the other side,
Ah,
that just, like, yeah, it was it was it was the worst. I'll get 1,000 tattoos before I get anything pierced again.
yikes. Yeah, I'm like every now and then I'm like, oh, I could get, like the semicolon somewhere, or I could get like Frankenstein's. I got this big scar on my back from when I got like some, skin pre-cancer cells removed. So I have this
Whoa.
big gnarly scar on my back, and I thought like Frankenstein stitches on it would look cool. Then I'm like, I just can't do it.
Just get your makeup done.
Right, yeah, because yeah, I could use that. But anyway, just the whole idea of this religion as a spectacle thing. I think this
Yeah.
movie does a pretty solid job skewering that, and I wish that that stuff hadn't been cut down as drastically as it is,
Mhm.
because some of it is so just ridiculously cringeworthy, right? The kinds of musical production numbers that they put on. So it's like that Turning Point USA stuff,
Yeah,
frankly. It's just
that's a
so
good point.
tacky. It's so tacky. And I just found that stuff to be really pretty solid. And that's kind of what I latched onto with the movie. So when it goes sort of back into the, hey, let's do Catholics casting out the devil, I'm like,
Yeah.
seen it. It's fine. For me though, the thing about this, there were a lot of really, really dated jokes. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
this is a movie
movie
that was
of
I
its time.
instantly of its time.
And the thing is, it's almost like it's too late even for when it came out.
Yeah.
With some of them, like, okay, BFD sound is pretty funny. And that's if there's a fuck in the movie, it's that because it's a big fucking deal, but they don't say the word fuck, right?
Yeah.
But okay, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. That commercial thing, that is really dated, even when this comes out, because I don't even remember those commercials in the 80s. Um, the Oliver North thing, how long has it been since your last confession? And he consults his lawyer. I don't recall, counselor.
That
I
went over my head.
that that
Yeah,
wasn't like those trials were in like 1985.
okay.
And um, Linda Blair's character is named Nancy. Get it? Nancy Reagan.
So good.
Oh,
My
oh.
question about the will Ted Kennedy ever be president? Had he killed that person by this point,
Yeah,
or
yeah. That's the
okay,
joke.
okay.
That's the joke because the thing flies across the room and it hits the car and it falls into the fish tank.
I see.
Yeah. So if you've seen Blowout, then maybe you'll get that joke. you know, I guess that one can play because it's a sort of big moment in history.
Mhm.
But I mean, Ted Kennedy passed away a long time ago, and we know he would never became president.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole Jack LaLanne thing, the exercising thing, that's I mean, I think most people watching that now are not going to have any idea who Jack LaLanne is.
I sure don't.
You didn't know who he was? Okay. Then they bring in this talk show host to like yell at her,
Mhm.
and it's a guy named Wally George. It was supposed to be Morton Downey Jr., but even Morton Downey Jr. is going to be someone that most people aren't going to know who that is. He was basically Jerry Springer before Jerry Springer.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Now
then go ahead.
the Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
I've seen that impression several times, but I
Mhm.
can't remember Barbara Walters ever talking like this.
Never. I know that. Do you know what that was? That was an impression of Jane Curtin doing Barbara Walters.
Whoa.
That's what I always thought, because Barbara Walters I always thought had a very like distinctive, and like she was very concerned about her articulation.
Yeah.
But on Saturday Night Live in the 70s, Jane Curtin did "I'm Baba Wawa," one time, and
It
everyone is
just
like,
stuck.
and it just stuck.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's not an offense against Jane Curtin. I thought she's one of the great stars of SNL from that early era, right? But I just like, it doesn't really fly.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disneyland.
I mean,
Um,
that's classic.
I thought that whoever they got to play Pope John Paul II,
That's pretty good.
spit an image, man. I thought, did they actually get the Pope to be in this for a second? I shit you not, because he looks so much like him. It's crazy.
It's that's him being like, the Vatican. We did that. The Exorcist dirty. We got to show that we're hip
Yeah,
now. We're cool.
yeah. Um, okay, it's like
Oh,
Jesse Ventura and Mean Gene. That's
a-
pretty funny.
as a wrestling fan, that I got so to use wrestling lingo. I popped so hard when they came on screen,
well, I
especially
love
Mean Gene.
I love Jesse Ventura because, man, that guy, I haven't always agreed with him on various things, but I tell you what, the stuff he's been saying lately has
Yeah,
been fantastic.
no, he's a
Thank you,
boss.
Miss.
I
Thank
I
you,
don't.
Mr. Ventura.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a picture of your mother in bed with Manuel Noriega. That's really funny. Okay, but I was just like, some of the things she's saying is like, your mother does laundry and your father's ugly. And it's like, it's really funny. I mean, because it's always, your mother sucks cocks in hell,
Yeah.
Karis, right? It's just variations on that, but they're like really clean. Is so funny to me.
They remind me of like the cable TV censored version of
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, the picture of your mother in bed with Manuel Noriega kind of killed me. Hans and Franz, we're here to pump you up. That's, I mean,
Straight
1990, that's like
SNL,
right
yeah.
out of that year. And that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon and Dana Carvey, and it was one of the great ongoing skits of SNL, 30 years ago, 35 years ago now. But is that really something people will know now? I don't know.
Of a certain age, I think, or like
Yeah.
SNL nerds, but yeah, it's not gonna hit for
Yeah.
people. Um, it's been so long since I've seen a "Check Please"
Right.
in the wild, but that is like the hackiest line. Like
Sure.
it's what's used in sketches now to show that someone's being a hack is by putting the
Right.
"Check Please."
Yeah.
So it was incredible, and I'm happy to see that it's in the section of the film that he was not responsible for, and that was the most studio interference. Ugh. And then, of course, the running PMS joke. I feel like that was you'd know better than me because I'm so young and supple. Um, if we ever have merch, I need to get a shirt that says "young and supple" on it.
And
Um,
I'm old and haggard.
It was PMS in the
Oh yeah.
zeitgeist at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
I just finished up watching Taxi. It went
Yeah.
for 5 seasons and then it just kind of ended. But the very last episode is about PMS and
What?
how, and I'm serious. I'm not kidding, because the Latka's wife, played by Carol Kane, um becomes like very erratic for like 2 weeks a month. And they're like, "Oh, we think you might be experiencing premenstrual syndrome. I mean, they're like spelling it out. They're not even saying PMS. They're really like, this was like 1982.
Wow.
And I'm like this was something that had just been discovered. And so it was very strange to watch that. But they were like, it was almost like an after school special version of Taxi. It was
And
wild. One of the things that I think is really funny that got cut from the movie for time is that when Ernest first goes to see Nancy in when just to like, will you be a good candidate to be on our Exorcism Tonight show? They wanted to have Linda Blair as Nancy say to Ned Beatty's character, "Hey Ernest, remember this?"
oh
Whee!
my god.
Which he suggested it to Ned Beatty and was like, he's not going to like this, is he? And Ned was like, yeah, let's do it.
Good old
So
Nettie.
I love Deliverance. That would have been kind of hilarious. I do kind of like the little spoofs of different movies that they put in this. There's like a
Mhm.
Rocky training montage thing where he's, you know, speed shadow boxing a rubber chicken, and I don't know.
Crossing
I
himself over and over
crossing
again.
himself,
Yeah.
practicing that, and putting the cross in his crucifix in his belt, and all that. I think that's pretty spot on for that
Yeah.
time. I mean, and Rocky montages. Everyone knows Rocky montages. So that was pretty good. So, question, question time. Do you think that the makers of Exorcist Believer saw the section of this movie with all the world religious leaders and went, "Hey, let's do that"?
Um.
That's one of the most offensive scenes in the movie, by the way.
Oh yeah, that was the
It's
worst.
yeah, and it
That
happens
was
twice.
awful.
It happens twice. It's like gathering of all the world religious leaders, and they actually all show up at the Hollywood studio momentarily, and they're all wearing like cultural
Oh
costumes
god.
and stuff. And then when they later have Leslie Nielsen, oh, I'm a Catholic, now I'm Jewish, now I'm a Native American. That's
Ugh.
like so cringy.
That
Oh, it's
was
so bad.
that was rough, and
Yeah.
it's funny because they're both offensive in the sense that in Exorcist Believer, it's just like it's just you don't have an opinion, and you're
Right.
just you
Yeah.
know you're just checking off boxes. Anyway, we got
Yeah.
to save that for when we finally
We will
walk
eventually
those
talk
waters
about
again. Walk those
Exorcist
waters.
Believers. Oh, we walk on water, don't you know?
My shit don't stank.
No. Um, Mine does, and I sink quite thoroughly. Okay. Um, Now, show how old I am. I had that Rambo lunchbox.
That's so rad.
Yeah. With the thermos. It was
With
a
the thermos.
with the thermos. It was a plastic, it was a red plastic thermos. Yeah. So that was kind of fun to see that again.
Hmm.
Um, so I hadn't seen Rambo First Blood Part 2 at that time, but I had the action figures and I had the lunchbox, consarn it.
Dag nabbit.
Dag nabbit. All right.
Um, I have a question for
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
So, okay, as you pointed out to me while you were watching it, I believe you texted me, "What would the devil hate rock and roll?"
Yeah.
My answer being, I think he's more of a disco guy. But
Yeah.
as my wife just kept hammering home last night, honestly, she brought it up 3 times. When did they try the sex and drugs part?
Right. They don't.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, we've tried everything the devil hates: holy water, crucifixes, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Since when does the devil hate sex, drugs, and rock and roll? I thought that was sort of like the devil's thing.
he loves all those
That's
things.
in the culture. That's sort of like the thing. I'm wearing my Stone shirt today. Speaking of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it's like I don't know. I don't get that at all. I think that is one of the weirdest. And
I don't know.
apparently playing devil with the blue dress on, like
That's the
various
most satanic rock and roll they
cultural
could think of.
right, with, like, cultural I mean, there's, like, a what, Robert Palmer and the, Addicted to Love nuns? I it was yeah, anyway.
It was a mess.
It's
I'm never
it's
gonna
mm,
be able to get the image of Leslie Nielsen dressed as Michael Jackson out of my head.
right, right,
Ugh.
and, then the what about this one? When they spoof the ending of The Exorcist, "Come into me," "Get it leave
Yeah.
her, come into me," and they switch clothes
And their hands immediately go up to their
to their
boobs.
boobs, yeah. Oh, boy. This is a movie we saw, and the
I'm
more
so
I talk
sorry.
about it, kind of the more I am sort of horrified that I gave it 3. Oh, I shouldn't have said that yet. Um, but anyway,
I saw your rating and was like, before I popped it in, and it was like, okay, well, it can't be that bad.
oh, okay, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I think we're kind of wrapping up here, but
Do you have
okay.
a favorite quote?
I do have a favorite quote, but I'm gonna save it right at the end.
Okay.
The one that I remember the best though is the conversation is right at the very beginning, and I've always thought this was funny, and I still thought it was funny when I watched it this time, and I mentioned it earlier. But they're talking about what does aglet mean? Because that's her last name. It's like,
Mhm.
well, back in the day, it meant the person who puts the plastic things on the end of shoelaces, because people were named after their their occupations in those days. And the daughter says, "You mean like someone who built things was named carpenter, and someone who made bread was named baker?" Yeah, and then and then the son says, "What did John Hancock do?" I don't know. I think that's hilarious.
That was such a long walk,
Yeah,
considering the setups for the rest of the jokes in this movie. That was
yeah.
like, yeah,
But
that
it pays off. That one's pretty good. I still I cannot look at a picture of the Declaration of Independence and not think of that joke.
and I think my favorite line, it's not an iconic one, but I do love when the devil's like, "Oh, what did I do to deserve this?" It's funny because it's the devil.
It's the devil. It's
Anyway,
the devil. Yeah.
it's a big hat.
Um okay. So you have another question here. What
Oh,
shall you pose this
well,
to us?
while I was watching this, um, I was wondering, like, is there a place in today's society for these kind of parody movies? Because for a long
Yeah.
time, those became like those just terrible straight to video,
Yeah.
like, a superhero movie and
Mhm.
not another teen movie. In fact,
Movie and
Nielsen ended his career, unfortunately,
yeah,
on with
making
those
those
kinds of
things, yeah.
movies.
Even
And that
like the late era scary movies he was doing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now with the new scary movie coming, I'm interested. I haven't seen the trailer, but
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if they've updated
Well,
it or if it's like, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
S Scary Movie was always a odd duck to me, though, because its thing it's spoofing, at least the first ones, is Scream, which is
Yeah.
already a spoof of slashers.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's a slasher itself, it's still kind of poking fun at them. So I just thought that was a weird choice. I know they went on into other things a little bit more, because I didn't I think it was the Zuckers and ended up doing the later ones, right?
Mm.
I can't remember.
I only watched the first one was I think at the time I was probably the right age for them,
I
for the
saw
first
the
one at
f
least.
I saw the first one and I hated it when I
Yeah.
saw it. And this was a long time ago. I mean, I was like it was not my kind of humor at all. So like I said, I haven't seen it since, but I might give them another try before the new one comes out. Um but I don't know, because this is a brand of humor. This isn't
Yeah.
this is not, like, oh, this is a funny movie. Even Mel Brooks never did movies like this, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I saw some of those 70s comedies. And I got, like Blazing Saddles is really funny. It's a lot of laughs, but it's not, that rapid fire thing like the Zucker Abrams Zucker thing is.
Mhm.
And so I feel like the Wayans brothers sort of took on that when they did, even like I'm gonna get you sucker and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They were doing that thing, right? Um, so with their own stamp on it, of course. So Scary Movie was sort of in that vein, rather than a comedy that's funny but still grounded in some sense of reality, right?
Yeah.
Um, the straight face comedy, I don't know how to describe it. What exactly? I think people know what I mean when I say Zucker, Abrams Zucker comedy,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's just I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I do think I did laugh at the trailer for the new one.
Mhm.
When I saw it, it was like the whole Megan thing, and then you had all these different sort of recent horror icons, Hard Eyes and stuff like that on the subway bus or the subway train and stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. So I am interested to see what they do, and I do like the idea that they're really going to go for it, and they're not worried about who they're going to
Well,
offend,
that's
which
what I was
is a
wondering, are they
little
gonna
bit. It's gonna because I mean that's tough now
Yeah.
because everyone's offended by everything right now, it seems. And like this movie Repossessed, I don't think it plays today.
No.
There's too much of it that is just so dated and just so um cringy. I hate even to use that word because it sounds so, I don't know, an old guy using that word is kind of cringe in itself. I do not have the riz for, and I'm gonna stop now.
6,
um
7? Ah,
oh
fucking kill
god,
me, kill me.
oh. Okay, I'm an elementary school teacher, and if you say 6 7 in my presence, I'm gonna have to kill you. Um, it's oh yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but we'll see. I mean, if it's sort of like equal opportunity
Mhm.
skewering of offense, hey, maybe it'll play. Because that was one of the things that I found about like Blazing Saddles is it's so offensive that it is like offensive to everybody. And so therefore it kind of works.
It's like Don Rickles.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to explain. I mean, I was surprised that um, you know, now in our I Blazing Saddles may play better now than it did in the 70s,
Oh, interesting.
which is I did not expect.
Hmm.
Um I think, but something like The Bad News Bears is crazy. That's a PG rated movie. And boy, and those kids are foul mouthed and they're saying all kinds of slurs and they're drinking beer and I mean, that movie is legitimately offensive. But again, it's sort of an equal opportunity offender. So
Yeah.
it kind of works. So
Man.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's insane to me that movies like that were PG. This was kids' fare in 1976. Uh Insane. And whereas this movie I think doesn't age as well as those because
No.
it's sort of trying to sand the edges off a little bit. And I kind of wonder if Logan's original version of this would have been that more adult R-rated humor that would have maybe even played better.
We'll
I don't
never
know.
know unless we
We'll never know.
release the Logan cut.
There we go. Let's call for that. The Craven cut of Cursed, the Logan cut of Repossessed, and the Wells cut of Magnificent Ambersons. There we go. We got it.
Their holy trinity, baby.
There we go. Yeah, that's it. Sure. All right. So, holy pairings. Do you have any ideas of what you would pair with 1990s Repossessed?
I only have No, you know what? I was gonna say I only had one, but I've come up with a second.
Excellent.
The first one, Last Night with the Devil, I think
Oh,
would
yeah, I totally thought that. When I
Yeah,
was watching this, Late Night with the Devil would
or Late Night with the
100%,
Devil.
yeah, would 100% play with this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, that would be an interesting one, and then just because every time I was typing the title, this movie came up into my mind and how much I wish I had been watching that instead, Repo Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love Repo Man. And I do love Repo Man.
Harry Dean
I
Stanton, ugh,
One of the things I love about Repo Man is it's on the fucking Criterion Collection. And I have
yeah,
a 4K copy of this crazy cult movie in my possession.
yeah.
Who would have thought? I mean, oh man, it's a beautiful thing.
That April Fool's joke that they did years ago where they put Kindergarten Cop in the collection,
Yeah.
I think we're now more than ever, we are close to that happening in real life.
It's interesting because, Criterion is starting to realize, I think, that it's not just art house fare that
Yeah,
is worthy of the collection. And it's kind of always been that way. I mean, like RoboCop was in the collection for a
yeah,
long time. One of their earlier DVD releases, like Spinal Tap, which to me, that's the revolutionary comedy. That's the one
mm,
that I really love. I like Airplane a lot, but Spinal Tap is like I I l- I love that sort of faux documentary style, and I don't think it's ever been done better. As great as some of the Christopher Guest movies are, I don't think it's ever been done better than the original Spinal Tap.
mm.
Yeah.
This week, my son learned of Jackie Chan's existence
Oh, nice.
and is very he wants to watch. I'm trying to use it as a way to get him to, read quick. I mean, he reads quite a lot, but I'm like,
Good.
I'm only gonna show you Jackie Chan once you can read subtitles, because
Yeah.
we don't dub in this house.
No.
Um, but I
If I'm
showed
really lazy, I dub, but
I
usually
mean,
I subtitle.
so I showed him on the Criterion Channel in one of there's like a Jackie Chan collection that they have, and there's this
Yeah.
fantastic video essay by Grady Hendrix,
Oh,
um, about Jackie Chan as a performer and his
hmm,
influences and stuff.
yeah.
And it's, peppered throughout are some great action sequences and everything, but, I would highly recommend that to anybody. But yeah, he watched it. He rewatched that video essay like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So I'm happy because not only is he seeing these great examples of his, fight choreography, but
Hmm.
he's also getting, like, Buster Keaton and stuff like that kind of, like, injected into his brain via,
Yes,
Grady
absolutely.
Hendrix. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, one of the things that's so great about Jackie Chan is how meticulous he is about all that choreography and
Oh, he's
the
incredible.
the humor that he just injects into that. And Buster Keaton is probably, I mean, of all the great film artists of all time, Buster Keaton is way up at the top of mine. I
Yeah.
think he was um, genius in the truest sense because he really was creating all of this
Mm,
out of nothing with this little band of early filmmakers and just making it happen. And his independent films, especially, are a level of brilliance that I don't think even Chaplin touched. And I love Chaplin too, but man, okay, we're going to be covering a silent film in a little while. If you've never watched a silent film, I highly recommend starting with Buster Keaton as an entree into silent film
mm.
because he will make you fall in love with it if you haven't already. And then, those early comedians are a great way to
Harold
start. And
Lloyd.
then, yeah, Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, even some of the Keaton Arbuckle stuff, but especially Keaton. And then, maybe find your way to some of the expressionism, Nosferatu, and the other Murnau films and things like that. But it's really rewarding if you've never done it. It's a good way to sort of dip your toe in.
Mm.
Um, but and again, we are Going on a tangent here.
What's
Okay,
your pairings?
my pairings, I chose movies because the thing that really um struck me about this movie, about watching Repossessed again, was something I had forgotten was even in it, which was the televangelism element.
Mm,
And so there's a movie I've been wanting to see for a long time. I didn't know was available on YouTube, but it is, and that is the 2000 documentary, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And it's
mm,
about Tammy Faye Baker Mesner. And it really, I don't know, it sort of beautifully humanizes her, because she is sort of a caricature in this film,
mhm,
which, that's kind of what we knew. But one of the things about her is she was genuinely a person of faith, and she really did um, reach out to the kinds of people that Jesus would reach out to. She just
mhm.
got caught up in all of the money and all of the fame, and just like, yeah, I think most people would. But the first part of it is sort of a recounting of her history with, praise the Lord, and with Jim Baker and all that. But the second half is sort of where she was in 2000 and all of the things, and it sort of follows her, doing the Roseanne show, and getting
Oh,
her makeup
yeah.
done, and all of these different things that were happening back then that are so different than they are now, than
Yeah.
they were then. But I mean, how she became sort of like this gay icon, and this was before she was on The Surreal Life, which is sort of one of the great. I watched that in
I
real
did too,
time.
yeah, in real on Spike TV, was it?
Yeah, or
Yeah,
something, and that was sort of eye-opening too, because she was just a lovely person.
yeah.
She was really genuine in ways that you would not expect from someone who has their makeup tattooed on their face. It's hard to explain, but, it goes into her whole Ativan addiction, and her
Mhm.
cancer, and all of these different things. She really went through a lot.
Yeah.
Now, Jim Baker is still a
Piece of
piece of
shit.
shit,
Yeah.
but I think Tammy Faye's memory should be a blessing, because she really went through it, and she really lived the way that people of faith, I believe, are called to,
Yeah.
in many ways. I mean, she was not perfect, of course, but there's some really amazing things. There was a movie, like a narrative film, that came out. Jessica Chastain won her Oscar for it, which I also called The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which I don't really care for that much.
No.
But this documentary is terrific. It's short, it's an hour and 20 minutes, and it's on YouTube in a pretty good transfer. It's narrated by RuPaul,
Oh, cool.
which is man, great voice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
Rue is
wonderful
wonderful.
voice. Yeah. And then the other one I want to mention is also, it's sort of in that vein of sort of the religion as spectacle thing. Steve Martin film Leap of Faith.
Mm.
Fantastic
I almost bought that
comedy.
on Kino, this Kino
Love it.
sale, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of that movie, and I think it is interesting because it's like he's this shuckster, and he's making fake miracles and all this thing, and then a miracle actually happens,
Mm.
and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so it's just about this town experiencing actual revival, and it's something that he does not expect. He comes in to take their money and run,
Mhm.
and but something else happens, and it's a really terrific movie, ultimately really touching and heartwarming, but also very, very funny. One of Steve Martin's best performances, and Steve Martin to me is, I mean, as far as comedy royalty goes, Steve Martin is really the fuck up there
He
for me too.
he's like
So
he's one of those guys who just you could you hear sometimes they talk about certain athletes and they're like, you could place
yeah,
them in any era, they would still be on top. And for him, yeah, Steve Martin, when it comes to comedy,
yeah,
he's always had the goods.
he has a timeless quality to him. He
Yeah.
really does. And I'm loving that he's still successful on things like Only Murders in the Building, and he's
Yeah.
still on tour with his buddy Martin
Martin
Short. And
Short.
I mean, come on, what a to have two people who genuinely seem like really good guys just having this late career resurgence like this. This makes me happy. This warms my heart. Okay. Anyway, this is all that's really off the beaten path. But okay, ratings for for Repossessed.
I mean, I guess
Holy scale.
maybe a 2
Yeah.
in terms of iconography usage,
Yeah.
and some of the Catholic jokes are, like, pretty pretty funny, I think, as a
Yes.
Catholic.
Yeah, I think some of them are too. You know, like the board of priests are Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
I gotta say, I loved the certificate of
Yeah,
of
signed by
possession that
the Pope.
the Pope in Sharpie. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
that's good stuff. Um, yeah, I'm with you on that too. It's because I mean it's borrowing from a movie that really does try to dig into um real issues of faith.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't do so as deeply, but some of it rubs off, I think. So 2 is fair. What about as a horror film? On the terror scale, I mean, this is not intended even to be scary.
Yeah.
So
So I have 1.
yeah, sure. What's your overall feeling about Repossessed?
I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 was
Yeah,
my ultimate rating. It I don't know. Like, the first third of it I really enjoyed,
yeah,
and, by the end I was like, this is 84 minutes.
yeah,
How is this how is
yeah.
84 minutes past? It feels like it's been 2 hours.
Right. The ending really drags.
It
The
does.
when you get past the telethon, it just sort of yeah, it really drags after that. I gave it a 3 because yes, it's dumb, yes, it's dated, but I am still entertained. Are you not entertained? I
And you
was.
were.
And so, a lot of it is probably related to my own sort of memories of it. I know it's not good, but I will still kind of enjoy it
Yeah.
enough, to give it a 3, I guess.
Amen.
All right.
That's what bees.
Um, so I'm gonna close, and I'm gonna close with that line, my favorite line, and it's in one of the added scenes, but I still think it's pretty funny. So anyway, thanks for listening, and until next time, remember, no feathers. We'll use the whole chicken.
Gross.
Yeah.
And that concludes another episode of Holy Terrors. Thank you so much for listening to our humble little podcast. If you'd like to support the show, please drop us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky by searching Holy Terrors Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.